A four-match unbeaten run has eased the pressure at Hull City recently. This week they were at fellow strugglers Crystal Palace, who have some scope for optimism themselves after 3 successive home wins. Commentary comes from Tony Gubber.
Here's Dans. This is Klein. Dans does well, gets the ball in. Kanyago, good block. Great block. Zayati, I think it was the outstretched foot of Kamil Zayati which prevented Hull from conceding there. Oh, that's dropped over the top of McCarthy. Here's Simpson. He's got no angle. Well, he might have done better with that. The ball missed by the defender, and it was Jay Simpson who got in quickly behind the Crystal Palace back four and drove that straight at Speroni. Oh, he's done very well here, Klein, and he's got Ndiaye out wide on the right. Well, it never really looked like scoring, but he's at least forced a save from Benoni. This is Kanyago. He's got away. Kanyago, Dans with the chance. Oh, and it hit a defender. Still in play, though. And finally, the shot from Kanyago goes whistling over the crossbar, and George Burley turning away in disappointment. So close, Crystal Palace, to stealing the 3 points in the dying seconds here.
Yeah, frustrated as far as dictated most of the game. Had virtually all the possession and created the chances, but didn't take any.
It's a point, another point gained, but if we want to make progress in the league, you know, we've got to turn these sort of performances into wins.
Last season, these two teams were 2 leagues apart. They went into this game split by just 2 positions. A recent run of 7 games without defeat has kept Leeds on the fringe of the playoff positions ahead of their hosts, and they had a series of early chances, like this one from Max Gradel. But Burnley saved their best for Turf Moor, where 23 of their 29 points have been earned. The Clarets ahead thanks to Brian Easton's first goal for the club. Clark Carlisle faced his former side. His long punt forward became an assist. Jay Rodriguez outfoxed Alex Bruce, and his finish put Burnley 2 up. A win for Burnley would see them leapfrog Leeds in the table, but Max Gradel gave the visitors some hope of a comeback after the break. An open game saw chances at both ends. Chris Iwelumo should maybe have extended the Burnley lead. His manager Brian Laws used last weekend to watch Leeds come back from a goal down to beat Crystal Palace. Cue another Leeds fight back. Paul Connolly supplied Luciano Becchio for his 6th goal in 5 games. Delirium for the 4,000 who travelled across the Pennines. Burnley have a habit of leaking late goals. Robert Snodgrass could hardly have gone closer. A thrilling encounter, but there was still more to come. Step forward, Johnny Howson. The Leeds midfielder picked up the ball in his own half and looked like a man on a mission. How's this for setting the captain's example? A vital goal, his 6th league goal of the campaign. There may have been one last twist of the match, but for Kasper Schmeichel. Another thrilling comeback for Leeds, who are now 8 games without loss and up to 4th.
Bristol City were bottom in October, but with just 1 defeat in 8 games, they were 18th before this match, and Keith Millen was manager of the month. And the home side's good form continued in this match, but only after a crucial decision went their way late in the first half. Chris Commons beat the offside trap before being crudely taken down by David James. Referee Darren Sheldrake deemed it worthy of just a yellow card. Derby manager Nigel Clough begged to differ. But after riding their luck, the home side took the lead through a striker who's just finding his feet at this level. It took Brett Pitman 12 games before he finally scored for City 3 weeks ago. It's now 4 in 3 matches after finishing Albert Adoma's cross. And it was the same City combination that settled the nerves with just over 20 minutes remaining. Another inch-perfect pass from Adoma, putting Pitman clear, and he once again showed fine composure to seal City's 3rd straight home win and a 3rd straight defeat for the Rams.
You felt that a red card should have come there?
Well, when you get a player who's going to side-foot a ball into an empty net who's been brought down, we've been led to believe in the last few seasons that they're the rules.
Sheffield United manager Gary Speed was this week linked with a vacant Wales job. For now he had enough to contend with a short trip to Barnsley. Both teams had their matches postponed last weekend because of the cold weather, but this was a typically heated South Yorkshire derby. Udo Kalasi put the Tigers ahead just before the break. Barnsley were on a 4-match unbeaten league run. They were really threatened by the team with the weakest attack in the division. Mark Yates going closest for United. Bobby Hassel could have doubled the lead late on, but couldn't get the better of the Blades substitute goalkeeper Steve Simonson. So lots for Gary Speed to ponder. Was the Wales tour a distraction?
I haven't had time to think about anything. Obviously, haven't seen much of it myself, and I was totally concentrating on today's game. And you know, I haven't got enough room in my head at the moment. I'm still thinking about that game, so you know, not really got anything to say on that.
The spotlight at Deepdale was on 2 managers under pressure. Despite 5 straight defeats, Ipswich's Roy Keane had been given the dreaded vote of confidence in the week, and things haven't been any brighter for Darren Ferguson. It's their worst first half to a campaign in 55 years. But it was the post that denied Preston a first half lead when Billy Jones rose highest to meet Danny Pugh's corner. 5 minutes after the restart and the home side were in front. Ian Hume, playing in his last game on loan before returning to Barnsley, signed off in style, his 4th goal for the club. North End endured heartache last weekend when they conceded a late equaliser against Cardiff, but they held on this time thanks to the impressive defensive partnership of Leon Court and Wayne Brown. And when Ipswich did find a way through, Jamie Peters couldn't find a way past Andy Lonergan. Some breathing space for Preston, but it's now 6 league defeats in a row for Roy Keane.
We've had chances, we were in good control. I think their centre-halves actually were outstanding. They put some great blocks in. But again, soft goal away. And you've got to put the ball in the back of the net. So again, you know, we can't look for pity off anybody. We've had chances and we didn't take them.
So with none of the top 3 winning, there was little change at the top of the Championship. Leeds' dramatic win at Burnley lifts them into 4th. Leicester's huge win means they rise 3 places to 13th. Middlesbrough's victory over Cardiff sees them move out of the bottom 3. Next to League One, where the big match of the day saw leaders Brighton travel to 5th-placed Huddersfield. Commentary on this one comes from Mike Sewell.
Brighton come forward, neat pass infield by Wood. Murray's away from the defender into the penalty area. Murray goes down under a challenge, and it's a penalty kick for Brighton and Hove Albion. Peter Clark was the offender. Looked like there was much of an outstretched leg from Clark, but maybe he did enough to just knock Murray off his balance. Glenn Murray against Alex Smithies. Right-footed penalty is saved by the goalkeeper. He read it really well, did Smithies. Long ball down the right, played in by Bennett. Here's an opportunity. Murray meets it, and this time he beats Smithies and puts the ball into the net. The Brighton fans behind that goal salute Glenn Murray. Just guided it low past the man who denied him from the penalty spot in the first half. Free kick for Huddersfield into the penalty area, and an immediate response from the home team, and the man who hasn't had an opportunity during the match so far gets the goal. It's Jordan Rhodes, his 11th of the season. Roberts takes it high to the back post, headed to the edge of the area. Good Johnson drives to the shot, deflected, and then the header is deflected in And it's Jamie McComb who's got Huddersfield Town in front. Brighton didn't deal with that ball at all, and they were punished.
That win lifts Huddersfield up to third. Sheffield Wednesday beat Bristol Rovers 6-2 and moved to within 3 points of League One leaders Brighton. Paul Ince's Notts County move out of the bottom four after beating his former club MK Dons 2-0. The manager's son Thomas was amongst the scorers. In League Two, Chesterfield's match against Torquay went ahead after the snow was cleared around the B2Net stadium. And those efforts were rewarded as the Spireites inflicted a first defeat in 9 on Torquay thanks to Jack Lester's goal. Defeat for Port Vale at Morecambe means that Chesterfield's win lifts them to the top of League Two. Macclesfield were beaten 4-2 at home by Gillingham, a win that lifts the Gills up 4 places. Barnet defeated Accrington, while Hereford lost to Bradford and stay bottom of the Football League. Our goal of the week comes from Bristol Rovers' Will Hoskins. Great skill and improvisation, but it wasn't enough to prevent his team from losing 6-2 at Sheffield Wednesday. Next week on the show, Roy Keane's struggling Ipswich take on Leicester. And can QPR get back to winning ways when they travel to Leeds? We'll find out next week. See you then.